Hey guys, hope all's well. To be completely honest, in preparation for this week, I was scrambling. I don't feel like I have had the best week myself. I had a flare up in practice earlier in the week that I got angry and I was acting up and carrying on, acting like, I don't want to be doing that stuff. I don't want to be that guy. Um, we took a tough loss at home this weekend, so, I was a little frustrated after that. And I was a little bit inconsistent in my quiet time. So, not my best week. But in talking to my dad this morning, he encouraged me with this. He said, Jess, anytime I'm feeling flat, if I'm about to share something or I'm doing a devotion with the family, he's like, one thing that I've gleaned encouragement from is looking at Mark chapter 6, and it's where has 5,000 people listening to him talk, listening to him teach, and they're all hungry. The disciples are kind of scrambling. What can we do? How are we going to feed all these people? And they ask who has food, and a little boy comes up and gives them. I mean, you guys know the story. He gives them 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. That's this little kid's lunch. Not a whole lot. Didn't have much to offer, but in Jesus' hands, Jesus was able to perform a miracle and feed 5,000 people. And it's an incredible story. You think on it. I hope it's something that I haven't just brushed over far too often. But it's like, it's not on me. It's not on you. We give what we have to the Lord and trust Him for the result. So that's the hope, the plan for today. We'll jump right into it, guys. 3 verses this week found in 1 Peter chapter 2, and we'll look at 13, 14, and 15. It says, "Therefore, submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether to the king as supreme, or to governors, as to those who are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers and for the praise of those who do good. For this is the will of God, that by doing good you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men." And guys, I think why this jumped out at me is in verse 13. The first 2 verses say, "Therefore submit." It's like, that is not me. I am not the guy that is quick to submit, quick to obey rules. I want to question authority. If it's authority that I think is bad, I want to buck up, say, no, here's what I think. Here's where you need to have your thinking corrected. And sometimes I think that can be a good thing. I think for me, I've gone far too often on the bad side of it. Because here it says we're therefore to submit to every ordinance. So it says to the king and then to the ruler. So for me, maybe it'd be my father, my coaches, my assistant coaches, one day my boss. Whoever is an authority figure over me, I'm called to submit to that authority, and not for the authority's sake, but for the sake of the Lord. And then it says, or for the Lord's sake. And then in verse 15 it says, "For this is the will of God, that by doing good you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men." Because if I was saying that in my own words, I'd say people are watching you. People are watching me. I say that I'm purposing to follow Christ. And so I'm automatically saying I'm trying to live different. I'm trying to honor Him with my life. So people are going to watch that. And not only are they hearing the words you're saying, but they're watching how you treat people. Are you honest? Are you different from the rest of the world? And I think there's a call to excellence and character, and I think that's something of what this verse is alluding to, that the only way we can silence what people are saying is by our actions. Do your actions line up with what you're saying? And I can remember in college, guys, I was given some favor. I had good relationships with people in authority and with coaches, with school administrators, but often I used that, or many times I used that to kind of manipulate situations. I remember I would kind of try to smooth talk my way past the gate ticket office people at concerts and events in the Vine Center by kind of saying, I got to get to the locker room, or, I got this, I'm sitting at this guy's table, so I kind of go in with the big time people. And it was all just a bunch of BS. I was willing to compromise on my character to save on a $10 or $5 admission ticket. And I look back on that, man, it's really shameful, because it's like, is that how cheap my character is, that I'm willing to compromise to save $5 or $10? It's like, I don't want to be that way, because I'm going to, you're known by your actions. People are going to watch. They're going to see that. Is this guy a character, or is he just a con man? And, now the stakes are a little higher for me. I'm getting out. I have a job. I'm living. So, maybe now that test comes in, when I'm paying my taxes. Am I going to be honest? Am I going to omit certain details to save a few $100? Or am I going to be a man of character in my relationship with the Lord, and then in my dealings with people? Am I going to be open? Am I going to be honest? And Guys, I think that's the challenge that I want to take. I think this one aspect is talking about submitting to authority. So that's a check for me. First check is humble myself, submit to the authority that God's placed me under. God is ultimately, he's in charge of everything. So that guy that's over top of me, they have to account. Everyone's going to have to account to God eventually. It's not my job to grade his papers. I'm called to submit to authority. That's the first one. Second challenge is what we kind of alluded to in verse 15, a call to an excellence in character. So guys, for me, I'm praying that, Lord, whatever is in me, whatever junk, I got plenty of junk that still needs fixing, needs changing. I got plenty of character flaws. Lord, take that, show it to me, show the areas that I need you to change, and help me, Father, to help you change me. And guys, that's my prayer. That's the focus. That's the challenge. I hope you guys will take that as well, because people will be watching, and we want our actions to line up with the words that we're saying. Hope you guys have a great week.